Hey everyone, welcome to Trend Watch by CompTIA Research, where we give you a little bit of this and a little bit of that in today's technology news. Today's topic, vertical industries. We just completed a study of 8 different vertical industries and some of their business priorities with regard to technology, some of their skills issues that they got with their workers, and how they're going to approach those skills issues, whether it's through training or upskilling. And I've already talked to you on previous Trend Watches about 2 different industries, the retail industry and the healthcare industry. Today, I'm going to focus on manufacturing, one of our oldest industries, and it's a very interesting space right now. So when you think manufacturing, it really runs the gamut. It's a very diversified space. So you've got the smallest little tool and die shops, sheet metal manufacturing shops, all the way up to the big guys, talking about General Motors and all the auto industry companies. You've got General Electric. You've got even some of our technology industries like an Apple or an Intel that have semiconductor plants. Those are manufacturing facilities. And you've got your heavy industry type of manufacturing that you find with like a Caterpillar. So big space to consider. Very diversified. It's about $2.9 trillion of GDP in the United States as of 2023. So we took a look in our studies about what some of these different sectors' top business priorities were. And surprisingly, manufacturing is pretty tech forward. You think about other spaces like obviously the tech industry, which was one of our verticals, is very tech forward. But I didn't think that manufacturing, considering it's pretty brick and mortar, pretty old school, would be as tech forward as it is. But their business priorities really are very centralized around some technology. So what their number one priority for the coming year and years ahead is to introduce new and emerging technologies internally to their organization. Now a lot of manufacturing companies have been doing things with automation and robotics for some time now. Think about the car industry in particular, but a lot of heavy industrial has been using those solutions. But we're also talking about incorporating more artificial intelligence and machine learning. So number one priority, that it really speaks to some of the innovation that may be going on in the manufacturing space. The second business priority is being more operationally efficient. And this makes a lot of sense. A lot of manufacturing is built on repeat process, building assembly line type of operations where you're building the same products over and over again. You want that to be as efficient as possible, to be able to move from the beginning stages of building something to the end stage as quickly, efficiently as possible, and get it out into the supply chain and out to consumers and your customers. So operational efficiency makes a lot of sense. To get there, you need a lot of technology. So again, very tech forward in this industry. The third business priority for the coming year is innovation. So we're talking about firms that I, had been putting in sort of the old school camp who are really looking ahead to how they can be more innovative. And that's typically with the use of technology to improve their products, to grow their revenue, to grow their profit, to make their employees more productive. So these are all big priorities for the manufacturing industry, which I think is very interesting. One of the questions we asked, which sort of proves out my point here about manufacturing sector being a little bit tech forward, is asking where they thought, as a self-assessment, their company sits on the spectrum of tech adoption and tech usage. And 65% of our manufacturing respondents said that they believe that their companies are either in the upper tier or cutting edge when it comes to their use of technology, which is pretty significant. And it's up there with, higher than the other, than I'd say 4 or 5 of the other vertical sectors that we examined for this study. So manufacturing is feeling pretty good about how they use their technology, which is wonderful. How they're going to reach some of those goals that they have laid out for you, the ones that I talked to you about earlier, most of them are saying their number one answer was that they're going to try to achieve those goals through cost saving and innovation. So that's a balance. So they're going to be trying to cut costs internally. They're also going to use innovation to be able to meet their goals. And they're hoping that a lot of that comes from the use of artificial intelligence. So we talk a ton about AI these days, much of it hype. It's one of those 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of embrace of a new technology. But in manufacturing, they are putting a lot of their eggs in this basket where they believe that AI is both going to bring them cost savings, but additionally is going to help them with innovation that's going to improve their bottom line. Their biggest challenge, other than the economy, which is everybody's biggest challenge, is the worry about what the uncertainty of the economy, and you never know which direction it's going to go in. That's number one for every vertical. Their second biggest challenge, though, to achieving these goals here is their inability to recruit tech workers that have the right skill set that will help them achieve the business priorities that I just outlined for you. So that really speaks to them seeking new age workers, people with right skills in AI, in machine learning, in cybersecurity. These are all going to be very important things. So, big part of the study that we did with these verticals is to ask them about the skills issues that they may be facing within their organization, how they're going to improve upon them, and what some of those challenges might be. And in manufacturing, they're seeing that the level of change in the requirement around different technical skills is very high in their industry right now. About 60%, 6 in 10, said that the level of change that they're seeing, meaning that their workers are going to have to elevate their game and have a different level of skills, or the people that they hire, their new recruits, are going to have a different skill set that's going to help them fit into the industry and into what the industry is trying to achieve, is quite heavy. And that crosses across both the depth of their skills, so are they really deep at their one particular discipline, and the breadth of their skills, according to our respondents, meaning not only are they deep at what they do as their primary skill, but they have a breadth of knowledge about technology that covers other areas that go out horizontally, so that they know how to at least use, in a perfunctory or cursory way, other technologies that might be right outside of their particular job wheelhouse. So that's really important. Some of the new disciplines that are driving this need for additional skill sets in the manufacturing space are need for cybersecurity experts, need for people who have more expertise in automation technologies, and then, of course, AI, as I've mentioned. So if any of you out there are aspiring to a job in manufacturing, those are 3 technology areas for job roles that they are going to be looking for. One of the other ways manufacturing is going to address its skills issue is to increase its training budget. And more than 2/3 of our respondents said that they're going to plan to increase training and what they're going to be spending on it in the coming year. And training could be everything, but a lot of it has to do with 2 areas: upskilling and reskilling their workers. 70% of our manufacturing respondents said that upskilling and reskilling are significant needs for them within their organization. And let me explain quickly the difference between the two. Upskilling, it tends to be when you are providing somebody in a job role with a higher level of skill in that same job role. So think about it as a doctor. If you are a general practitioner and all of a sudden you learn skills that help you become a pediatrician, you have just upped your skills as a doctor into one area. Reskilling would be retraining somebody from one job role to a different job role. And these are 2 priorities in the manufacturing space right now. And the number one reason that they're doing all this retraining in order to, get people up to the right skills that reach the priorities is to also hold on to their workers. Retention is very important in manufacturing firms. They see a lot of churn and a lot of attrition. They're trying to stamp that down and make sure that they can hold on to good employees. And then to be more competitive. Manufacturing firms are telling us that in order to be competitive today, they need to be at the top of their game when it comes to digital skills. And that means having the right employees with the right technical skills and approaching the industry with that innovation and cost saving in mind that is going to help them reach their business priorities. So if you're into manufacturing, those are the things that are important to these companies. Till next time, thanks.